What's going on, everybody? It's Jacoby Freitas, and I am back for Freitas' Faves, an NFL Top 10 going into Week 14 of the NFL season.
Let's just get right into it. At number 10, I have the San Francisco 49ers. Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, deserves to be up there in Coach of the Year talks with Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. He's been able to lead this handicapped Niners team to a 9-4 record in what is maybe the best division in the league. Brock Purdy seems like he's finally getting back into the swing of things, and don't let the fact that the Niners are the 7th seed fool you. They are only a half of a game behind the 1 seed Bears, so don't be surprised if they shoot up the standings quick. At number 9, I have the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts finally seem like they're starting to cool off after an extremely unexpected hot start to the season. One thing that has been proven to be true game after game is that if you can slow down Jonathan Taylor, you have a good chance of beating the Colts. Shutting down the run game makes things much harder for Daniel Jones, and he seems to revert back to the old Daniel Jones in those situations. So personally, I think if the Colts do sneak into the playoffs, they won't have much success. At number 8, I have the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo continues to be extremely streaky, but right now they're on one of their hot streaks because they just demolished the Steelers behind James Cook and his 30 plus carries and 100 plus yards. But the defense has actually played well, and the offense looked like itself. In a very unexperienced AFC with the Chiefs and Ravens possibly missing the playoffs, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills and Josh Allen got hot at the right time and made a push for the Super Bowl. Speaking of inconsistent, this Eagles team, and more specifically their offense, may be more streaky than any team in the league. The last 6 quarters for the Eagles have looked awful on both sides of the ball. The second half against the Cowboys, where they were held scoreless and gave up 28 unanswered points, and then the Bears came in and dominated the Eagles in their own stadium. It's not a good look. But Philly has also had games where they really look like the reigning Super Bowl champs. But in a tight NFC race, the Eagles luckily have the most cushion of any team with their multiple game lead in the NFC East. At number 6, I have the Chicago Bears. Similarly to other teams high on this list, all season I didn't want to believe that the Bears were really a quality football team, but Chicago has won 9 of their last 10 and now have the number 1 seed in the NFC. Ben Johnson has completely turned this team around and developed Caleb Williams beautifully. I did see a stat the other day, though, that despite having the 1 seed, the Bears have the highest odds of all current playoff teams to miss the postseason, which is pretty insane. With their final games, including the Packers twice, the Lions, and the 49ers, these next few weeks will really prove if Chicago's legit. And before we get into this top 5 right now, I just want to say that this year the NFL has been harder than ever to get a read on who's like who's really good and who's not. So it almost seems like a lot of these rankings are just who's hot at the right time, but that's kind of what it's come down to. But at number 5, I have the Green Bay Packers. After two concerning losses, the to the Panthers and the Eagles, the Packers finally caught fire again, winning 3 straight. Last week on Thanksgiving, being able to go into Detroit and make some big plays at the end of the game to hold on was extremely impressive. With Micah Parsons and the Green Bay defense finally getting settled in, Jordan Love looking like a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and Josh Jacobs getting healthy, Green Bay could be in a really good spot heading into the playoffs if they can handle business in their division. At number 4, I have the New England Patriots. The Patriots are such a hard team to read. They are the 1 seed in their conference with an 11-2 record. But when you really look into their schedule, they have one of the easiest roads anyone could ask for. They really only have two, maybe three quality wins, but if I'm not mistaken, they've played 8 of the 10 worst teams this year, including the Dolphins, who they play twice. I think the Patriots are overachieving right now, and I don't think they will go far in the playoffs. They're so young that their future is extremely bright, and they deserve this spot on the list. At number 3, I have the Denver Broncos. I mean, not much to say. Similar to the Patriots, the Broncos have a great record, but I'm not sure if they can keep it up. Every game, despite the opponent, it looks like a struggle for Denver, but with the grit their defense plays with, I think come playoff time in the cold, they'll be hard to beat in a weak AFC bracket. At number 2, I have the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks continue to blow teams out of the water. Last week against the Vikings, rookie quarterback Max Brosner literally had one of the worst quarterback games ever, and I think a lot of that is credited to Seattle's defense. And honestly, it is extremely scary for other teams that they were able to win a game 26 to nothing, where Sam Darnold threw for no touchdowns and under 130 passing yards, while Jackson Smith and Jigba didn't even have 25 receiving yards. And then at number one, for the second week in a row, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Despite a hard fought loss against the Carolina Panthers, the Rams still remain at number one on my list. The only team that really is close to the Rams for the number one spot is the Seattle Seahawks, but the Rams won the head to head, so I can't validate swapping their rankings. With the defense being one of the best in the league and Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, and Matthew Stafford putting up career numbers, they're going to be a really hard team to stop, especially if they can receive home field advantage in the playoffs. Well, that's going to be it for today's version of Freitas' Faves. I want to thank you all for listening, and we'll be back in 3 more weeks for the final Freitas' Faves of the season before playoffs.